Yes guys, welcome back to another FPL video. It is FPL Coach here, also known as the Indian Football Coach. Today is all about Game Week 23 review. And yes, there is still one game to be played, but it is like forever away. So we're just going to discuss how Game Week got on. And we all know pretty much everyone had a disastrous week, but we're still going to dive into it. We're also going to have a live tinker in terms of how maybe a wildcard team could be set up for Game Week 24 and beyond. So if you like this type of video, please do drop it a like, hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell, and let's dive into the video. Okay, so let's just dive into the Game Week 23 review. We all know there's still one game to be played, and we all know it has been pretty much a disastrous game week for most people. I think if you hit north of sort of 30-35 points, you're probably hitting a green arrow. I'm sitting on 24 points at the moment with one player left to play, and that is Ben Foster. Now, running through the team, I played a 1-3-4-3 formation. I should just add, I've moved from 17.775k down to 22.515. So yeah, it's about 5k red arrow. I'm fully expecting that to be in around 30-35k by the end of Game Week 23, just because there's going to be people that have obviously King as captain, they'll have Pedro, they'll have maybe some people that have Burning players as well. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. Running through the team, Ben Foster, he missed out. He had COVID. Kind of glad he missed out now, but I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of hoping, should I say, that he misses out in the second game. I don't think he will. Just because I've got De Gea on the bench, it's a nice 6 point. And 6 points at the moment, it feels like gold. So I could do with him missing the second game. I don't think he will, but that's kind of what I'm hoping. Moving to the defence, Cancelo 2 points, picked up nothing in a 1-1 draw away to Southampton. Trent, no attacking returns, no clean sheet, and the 3-1 win away to Crystal Palace. Soufal, I'm going to say this is a little bit jammy, maybe you could argue. So West Ham lost 1-0 to Manchester United, but he was taken off before West Ham conceded, and he picked up 1 bonus point as well. So 7 points for him. He was my highest scoring player, and I actually thank Soufal for that, and for David Moyes for making that decision. Fernandes, 3 points, midfield clean sheet point for me. Again, thankful it's an extra point. You take him all day long, especially in a low scoring week. Jota picked up a jammy assist point, picking up a penalty for Liverpool, Fabinho converting it. So yeah, very, very jammy there as well. Bowen 2 points, Foden 2 points, DC 1 point, picked up a yellow card. These 1 points and these yellow cards and stuff, they matter quite a lot in these types of games. Antonio 2 points, and then we all know about Dennis, so -2. He obviously won't be adding to his second game as he's suspended. On the bench, I'm sitting on 14 points. So De Gea 6 points, which I'm praying gets me, comes into my team, should I say. Son, obviously, we know he's still injured. Mitchell 1 point, and then Brandon Williams picked up 7 with a clean sheet and bonus point as well. So sitting on 24 points. What we'll say at this stage is I didn't use any transfers, so I've rolled my transfer. Sitting on 2 transfers going to Game Week 24, which I'm really, really pleased about. Hopefully between now and Game Week 24 deadline, there'll be announcements of further doubles in the future, so I can start preparing for that. Squad value is 106.3 million. I've used 25 transfers this week, this season, should I say, which is pretty good, I'd say, after 23 game weeks. Overall points is 1459 as well. So what we're going to do next is have a bit of a live tinker, because I think a lot of people might be thinking about wildcards and how to sort of bring in double game week players for the potential announcements going forward. Okay, so we're going to have a bit of a live tinker ahead of Game Week 24 now. We think there's going to be some double game weeks in the future, sort of 24, 25, 26, 27 potentially, and even beyond that. Lots of Ben Crellin and others on Twitter have sort of predicted that. And obviously, certain managers over the last few days have kind of alluded to it in their last presses leading into Game Week 23, that it could be double game weeks, i.e. Ralph Radnick, has suggested there could be a double game week for Manchester United in Game Week 25, and also Hassan, who was also kind of alluded to it as well. And there's probably other managers who kind of know about situations, that are things that sort of fixtures are penciled in, if you like, but can't be confirmed just yet, because they probably need to announce it. So with that in mind, we're going to have a bit of a live tinker. I'm going to remove certain players, add certain players in. We also know that the likes of Everton, they need fixtures to be added in. We know Spurs do as well. There's potential double game week for Liverpool going forward, and obviously you've got certain players come back from AFCON as well. So you can have a bit of a live tinker and give you some justifications of why certain players will be staying in and certain players will be removed. So we think Manchester United are going to have a double. De Gea's going to stay in for that, just saves me a transfer down the line. Ben Foster, we don't think West Ham are going to have, Watford are going to have a double, but having a 4 million playing goalkeeper just seems a smart decision just to keep in, especially thinking about bench boosts potentially going forward. Crystal Palace and Mitchell, I think we're going to remove him. Brandon Williams is going to go, Soufal's going to go. Into midfield, I'm not sure what I'm doing just yet, so I'm going to hold fire. I'm just going to skip to the strikers. Dennis is going to go, and I think Antonio's going to go as well. So I'm happy to keep one of Bowen or Antonio. If you look at West Ham's fixtures going forward, got Watford at home, fantastic. Leicester away, they're always kind of leaky. Newcastle at home as well, and then also Wolves at home. So they're pretty good. But the one thing I'm sort of bearing in mind and why I've got rid of Soufal and Antonio is that there is going to be Europa League games for West Ham, sort of in and around game week 26, 27, 28, depending on how far they're going, even beyond that as well. So it could be mental fatigue, physical fatigue as well, and some rotation around that period as well. So I think having one of those is probably smart. And you think out of all those players, Soufal less so, or there is competition for him, so there could be some rotation. Antonio, you know what his hamstrings like, and having those injuries in the past, he could be prone to injuries during that period, also get rotated more. I think Jarrod Bowen's a bit more robust. He can probably play maybe 3-4 days and lots of minutes as well. So going to keep Jarrod Bowen. Now as it stands, I don't have Mo Salah, and that's the problem. Facts. So who am I going to remove? So I'm going to keep Jarrod Bowen, like I said. Son, we think Spurs are going to have some doubles coming up, so he's going to stay. Saves me a transfer down the line. Likewise with Fernandes. So that leaves Foden or Jota. Now, if you look at Man City's fixtures going forward, Brentford at home, Norwich away, Tottenham at home, Everton away. They're okay fixtures, and there's probably going to be some rotation happening around the Champions League games as well for Man City. What I will say at this stage is the fact that Man City actually dropped points against Southampton is actually a good thing for our Manchester City assets. It means that providing Liverpool win their games as well and put some scoreboard pressure, i.e. winning games, it puts a bit of pressure on Manchester City for them to keep churning out those victories and playing a fairly strong team week in, week out. So for example, how I was looking at it maybe a couple of weeks ago, Man City could be 12-15 points clear before the Champions League fixtures come around, and then they can rotate lots of players. But actually, if it does get narrowed down to sort of 8 points, 6 points, whatever it may be, then I think that actually benefits our players or our assets going forward. So I think I'm going to keep Foden. So that leaves Diego Jota. Now, we know Firmino's back fit now. We know Mane and Salah are both coming back. You think there's going to be more rotation there. So for me, I think Jota will have to go. So reluctant go. So he's going to go. Let's just pop in Mo Salah. So let's just get him in. So that leaves me 22.8 million in the bank to get in 5 players. Now we think about Manchester United. Do we go Ronaldo as well? That's 3 big hitters. I actually think Fernandes is a better pick, although I think Ronaldo is a good pick as well. I think Fernandes is likely to play more minutes during this period. I think Ronaldo might get the odd rest in and around the Champions League games, because that's probably the bread and butter for Ronaldo at this stage in his career. On a global status, that's kind of where he wants to be shown and shining, if that makes sense. So I think Fernandes will be a better pick, and actually now Manchester United have changed the last 3-4 games to 1-4-3-3. Actually Fernandes has become more of an asset because he's actually arriving into the space as opposed to being as a number 10 and easily marked. So I think actually from a tactical point of view, Rangnick has got that spot on. I'm not going to say I'm an expert, but I did say this a few weeks ago. I did say, Bruno needs to play deeper to sort of be less occupied, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's another story for another day. Okay, looking at other players, so maybe looking at Spurs assets. So maybe someone like Eric Dyer could be a good play. So let's bring in Eric Dyer. Covers the Spurs defensive assets, if you like. Looking at their fixtures going forward, Southampton at home decent, Wolves at home decent. Okay, Man City away, but I could bench him there. There's probably going to be a double in around there. The only thing is, obviously I just mentioned there that I could bench Dyer, in game week 26. If they have a double game week that week, then I'm probably forced to play him, depending on who the fixture is. But as it stands, I'm quite happy to have him. It's probably, bank a clean sheet, not bankers, but he's not going to get much going forward in terms of attacking returns. Maybe doubling up on Manchester United as well, so maybe going with Diego Dalot. That could be a smart play, 4.5 million as well, saving myself some budget. It leaves me 13.7 for 2 positions. Now, looking at the makeup of the squad, you've got 5 midfielders there, you probably don't need 3 playing strikers. Southampton could be an interesting one as well, so let's just have a bit of Bruno. 5.2 million, does that give me enough budget? So it gives me 4.5 million for some defenders and another striker. Do I want to do that? I don't know. This is where the budget becomes a bit of an issue potentially. So let's just remove Bruno for now actually. Let's think about other defenders that we could bring in at 4.5 million. So maybe someone like a Lamptey. Obviously, if you look at Brighton's fixtures going forward, obviously they're blank in 24, but then after that, a nice sort of run of 4 fixtures there, and then they potentially have a double in there as well. Okay, his minutes are being managed, so maybe you could argue just bring in someone like Lewis Dunk. You could pay a bit extra for Cucurella, but the makeup of my squad, I think Lamptey would be, in terms of a budget point of view, probably better. So have to have him. Leaves me 9.2 million. So I'm very sort of restricted in terms of budget there. Obviously, things could change, could materialise, different things could do. But do I maybe get rid of Son and bring in Lucas Moura? But then that's just a wasted transfer. Let's have a look at this striker. So let's just scroll up for a second and let's just alter this to forwards, price, and let's go 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. There might be a couple of strikes I could get in potentially. So one player I was thinking about actually was a Norwich player, Ida. 4.9 million. It leaves me 4.3 million in the bank, so it doesn't give me a huge amount of money to play with. In fact, it gives me a naffle. Is anyone at 4.3? There is actually no strikes at 4.3, so I can't even do that. So it does give me problems in terms of budget going forward. So maybe I'll get rid of Ida and then change this to 5 million and just have a look at it. Who's available, who's not available. So yeah, there's no one that really screams at me. Like I think Edo is actually not a bad shout. Can bench him most weeks, fantastic, no problem. But then just need to just get a bit of budget in terms of strikes. So what maybe we might do is, do I leave Brandon Williams in? That is a question. That is a big question. These are the dilemmas you've got to have, guys, when you're building these wildcards. So maybe I'm going to take out Lamptey, put in Williams back in. Let me just get to all players. Okay, so let's just put in Williams again. Brandon Williams, 3.9 million, right? So that gives me 4.9 million. And again, it probably doesn't give me huge options going forward in terms of attackers. Let's just change that to forwards, right? And then let's just have a look at what's available in terms of budget. So let's just go 5 million. Is there anyone available who could do a job for me? The problem with this way around, guys, is I'm going to have two sort of. I mean, he does playing at the moment, but he could soon be benched, you know, going forward. And then obviously this player is going to be even weaker that I bring in. So say if I just bring in Gilhart, just for argument's sake, he's not going to play many minutes either. That probably restricts me to playing 1 up top, 5 midfield, which I'm fine with, and it kind of leaves me forced to play 4 at the back. Brandon Williams will play the odd game, but Norwich fixtures, I mean, they're okay going forward actually. There's, I mean, obviously you've got the Man City and Liverpool, but then generally speaking, there's a bit of green in there. So difficult to build the wildcard team. It means that I could have to maybe downgrade De Gea maybe and bring in another double Could be someone like Sanchez. It could be Pickford maybe. Let's just have a look at the goalkeepers' prices. Pickford 4.9. So I could sell myself 0.2, but this doesn't really give me loads of budget. I'd have to go down to sell limit. I have to save myself at least $500,000, I think. So I'm gonna leave it like that, guys. Just giving you a bit of an idea of what players maybe to bring in terms of wildcard teams. Obviously, budget dependent is a big thing. How you make up your team is kind of at the moment as well. That's a big thing as well. So gonna leave it like that. I hope this has kind of been helpful for you guys, kind of seeing what teams to maybe target and what players to have as well. There you have it, guys. That is another FPL video in the bag for you guys. That was Game Week 23 review, which was obviously not much to talk about. I mean, obviously there is a lot to talk about. I didn't want to talk about it too much, just put it that way, because it was a bit of a disastrous game week, although it's not quite finished yet. Mainly we spoke about wildcard potential for game week 24 onwards, looking at the next 4, 6, 8, 10 game weeks potentially, what players to bring in, looking at potential double game weeks, all that kind of thing. So hope this was kind of useful for you guys. Maybe you can start planning and start preparing a little bit as well going forward. If you like this type of video, please do drop it a like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. It helps kind of reach more people, which will be fantastic, and you know, I enjoy making this content for you guys as well, so that'd be fantastic. Maybe drop a cheeky comment below as well, that would be brilliant. So without further ado, we'll see everyone next time round, and have a good international break.